So there's no shortage of tools or programs or resources for digital marketers out there. And to be honest, there's a lot of stuff that's out there that's really unnecessary and it can be kind of overwhelming. And there's even more YouTube videos out there about people trying to talk about the different tools that you can use. Some of them are really good and some of them are super useful and some of them are just straight fluff and you don't really need them. And so I'm out here to change things. So what I want to do is I want to give you the comprehensive yet super slimmed down, trimmed down list of things that you can use to make $100,000 a month. And how do I know this? Because these are the actual tools that we use to run our business. They're not just things that'll overcomplicate it or make you feel like you're being busy. There's actually not that many tools that you need to make a bunch of money. So if you're tired of sifting through a bunch of resources and tools and YouTube videos trying to figure out what you should be using, well then this video is for you. Hey everybody, my name's Doug and I went from mindless 8 to 5er to digital entrepreneur. And unlike a lot of the other gurus and entrepreneurs that are out there, I don't really like the trade your time for money, grind, hustle everyday lifestyle. I'm a hobbyist and I enjoy the finer things in life, like working on my drift car or building keyboards, or more importantly, spending time with my family and getting to choose what I want to do with my time instead of working my life away just like a job. So if you're not about that hustle everyday lifestyle either, then hit the subscribe button and I'll show you how to prioritize your life while still making an income online. So today I got 12 tools for you to use that I actually use in the business. And again, these are tools that we actually use to run the business, to make things happen, to make money, to do calls, to work with employees, whatever it is. We're actually doing these things to actually do the work in the business and to make the money. This isn't a list of just like all the different tools that you can use. They are our actual recommendations and things that we use. And in some cases, I'll provide some, some alternatives and some things that you can use differently in case budgets are concerned or you don't necessarily need everything that's there. But in most cases, this is the best tool for the thing that you need. And again, we've used a ton of different tools. And we basically know which ones work for us and which ones don't. And, your mileage may vary. There may be some other things where you like certain stuff about a program that we don't, and that's totally up to you. But again, I just want to provide these as a resource. Okay, so the first tool that I want to talk about is called Loom. Now, Loom is a browser extension, but also app that you can use to actually record your screen or to record yourself and record your audio to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do with it. So we use Loom for a number of different things. So one of the first things that we actually use it for is for communicating with our students. So when we need to do a screen share or we need to walk them through some type of step-by-step process where we want to talk, but at the same time, we want to be able to show them what it is that we're doing on our screen, Loom is a great tool to do so. Now, some other uses for it that we've actually used as well is that we actually use it to create our programs when we want to do more screen sharing and, again, step-by-step things. So in our courses, we use Loom to actually record portions of the program to instruct people. And so Loom is a great tool because it streamlines things and makes things easy. You don't have to set up different mics and different cameras and record things and edit them in different programs. It also has the ability to kind of edit and trim within the program itself. So that way it kind of streamlines everything and puts everything together. So the second tool that I want to be able to talk about is a thing called Calendly. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, we actually run a high ticket coaching program. And in that program, we teach people how to book calls and sales calls to be able to basically land deals. And the tool that we use to actually close our deals as well and to set them up and to book the appointments is a thing called Calendly. Now, Calendly is just your basic appointment booking tool, but what it does is actually gives you a lot of really cool features. So you can set up like different types of events, or you can set very strict scheduling rules for yourself. If you only want to work Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays between certain hours, you can attach it to a Google Calendar so that way they sync up. So Calendly knows if you're busy at that time or not. But some of the more like refined features that we really like Calendly for are things like being able to ask certain questions when people are trying to book a call, or you're able to redirect people to certain pages. Or one of my favorite things is that you're able to actually send text message reminders and email reminders for the appointment that's coming up. So Calendly is a great tool if you are booking appointments in some way. So use this if you are somebody who's like doing sales calls, or you do consultations, or you need to talk to your students even. So it's a great way to be able to open up your calendar for your students to be able to book appointments with you at any time. Overall, just something that's really freed up a lot of time within our business. So the third tool here is a crowd favorite The tool is called Canva. You guys have probably heard of it, but Canva really allows you to do so many things nowadays. We primarily used it first for doing things like PDFs and worksheets and YouTube thumbnails, and you were basically able to make logos or do whatever else you wanted to do with it. But nowadays you can do a lot more things with it. You can like remove the backgrounds from your video or from your pictures. You can edit video and edit reels and things like that in Canva. So Canva has become a much more comprehensive tool. And honestly, it's kind of hard for me to continue recommending things like Photoshop to people because it's honestly such an overkill thing when you're trying to really streamline your business, cut down on expenses, cut down on overhead, and like the complicated use of programs, when you could just use something like Canva that kind of does everything and gets the job done. So if you haven't checked out Canva, obviously go check it out. Most of you probably have. It's in all these other videos that show up when people recommend their tools, but it's such a good tool, I still have to recommend it here. Now, the next program here that I recommend is a thing called ActiveCampaign. Now, if you're not doing email, you need to be doing email. Okay, you need to be collecting emails, you need to be creating opt-ins, you need to be doing things with email marketing so that way you have people that know you for you and that are coming to you directly to you for information rather than having to go through Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or something like that. And so having an email tool or email service provider like ActiveCampaign is a way for you to be able to do that. So there's a ton of options that are out there to choose for email. You have ones that are free, you have ones that are kind of free, you have ones that are very lightweight, you have ones that are very fancy, you have ones that you pay one time and you get access to forever. So there's a lot of different things that are out there, or a lot of different options that are out there for email tools. But one of the main reasons why I like ActiveCampaign is because it's so really business oriented. And so what I mean by that is there's basically two big things with ActiveCampaign. Yeah, you get the things like you can create forms and landing pages and like all this stuff that all the other tools can do, okay? But ActiveCampaign has very strong automation features. And for us, automating is a big deal. We want people getting emails the moment they sign up. We want them to be able to be getting their downloadable right when they get it. We want to be able to follow up with people. We want them to go through specific sequences based on certain actions that they take. So ActiveCampaign has a great automation system that we really like. And the second thing that I really like about ActiveCampaign is that, and this is for better or worse, but it allows you to send multiples of the same email to the same person. Now, generally, yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to send the same email to the same person twice because then it looks weird, it looks spammy, whatever, it kind of sucks. But in our system that we teach, we want to make sure that you're using emails to consistently market to people. And when people take specific actions, like say, for instance, watching a masterclass that you can find a link for down in the description below, then when people enter that automation multiple times, you want to make sure they're still getting that email sequence because they might come back and watch it multiple times. They might watch it 2 or 3 months later. And if your email tool doesn't allow you to send multiple emails to that person, they won't get that marketing sequence again unless you manually go in and remove them from that sequence. And that to me is where ActiveCampaign shines. So I'll have the link for ActiveCampaign down in the description below, along with all the other tools here that we provide. Be sure to check it out if you're into that kind of thing. But again, there are a ton of email tools that are out there. I just hope the one thing that you get from this video is that you should be doing email, and there's a tool out there to help you do it. Okay, so the next tool that I want to talk about is a thing called Showit. Now, everyone needs a website. Okay, you don't need a huge comprehensive website. You could use something like, just a landing page creator, or you could just use a link tree or something like that. But you need something off of your social media that people can go to either contact you or communicate with you, learn from you, learn more about who you are, etc., whatever it is. Okay, so lots of people like to recommend WordPress. I still recommend WordPress. I love it, but you got to get WordPress, you got to get hosting, you got to get the theme, you got to set up the theme, you got to set everything up. It can use coding, there's plugins, there's all this stuff that you have to do with WordPress. Same thing with like Wix or Squarespace or all these other things. It starts to become kind of overwhelming and kind of tough to do to set up, and it sucks up a lot of time. And when you're trying to streamline things, you don't want to have to mess with that. You don't want to have to go into the CSS and mess with things and make sure that things are working perfectly, okay? And that's where a thing like Showit comes in, okay? Showit is a tool, but it's actually more than a tool. It's a hosting provider, and it's a website builder that you use with absolutely no coding. Okay, by absolutely no coding, I mean there is no coding to do within Showit, okay? Unless you're doing things like, you have to do a very specific action with JavaScript or something else that's there, or you are pasting in HTML from something else to embed something. Other than that, like dragging squares and doing things and making shapes and moving the pictures, there's like no coding involved, and it's really cool. It's awesome because it just works. I don't know how they make it happen, they have something like you have to get their hosting with them, and that's probably how they make the magic happen. But it is simply amazing, and I probably will never build another website using just WordPress again, unless for some reason I just really like a theme and I want to use that. So Showit has a ton of different options. It's really easy to actually navigate the pages and the systems and setting everything up. The pricing to me is pretty fair for the amount of time that I save. So it's awesome to me. I really like it and recommend it. But again, if cost is something that is a hindrance, like, you can always still do WordPress, be very cost effective with your hosting and the free themes that you use and things like that. So it's still very possible to do stuff like that. Showit is kind of a luxury, but it's a luxury that I'm willing to pay for because to me, it's totally worth it. All right, so the next tool that I have for you guys is something that we use quite often as content creators and digital entrepreneurs, and that's just a little tool called TubeBuddy. Now, there's obviously TubeBuddy and vidIQ, and then there's like Morning Fame or Morning something, and then there's like a bunch of other options that are out there. Basically, I want you to just pick one of those and the ones that you like. So when you're doing your content research, it's not absolutely necessary that you use things like the TubeBuddy score or the vidIQ score or things like that. But what these tools do is they provide a way for you to be able to streamline your work to make it easier when you're analyzing content. Okay, these tools are not something that you should be relying upon. These tools are something that should be adding to your overall ability to strategize and to make really good decisions effectively. And something that TubeBuddy does really well is TubeBuddy breaks down a lot of the tags and a lot of the optimizations on the back end of a lot of these videos. But something that I really like about vidIQ is vidIQ actually has like a subscriber count that shows up as you're browsing through videos. And what that does is that allows us to do very quick analysis in terms of finding a topic that is popping off or finding a topic that's going viral when looking at a channel that doesn't have very many subscribers. So there's a lot of like nuances and little quirks that I actually use both of them for, and I have both of them installed. But they are tools to me not to rely on, not to make my decisions, but to help me make my decisions when I'm doing my other research. So bottom line, don't go doing content research alone and trying to like analyze things that take too long. Find a tool to help you speed up the process, but don't rely too heavily on that tool and do something just because a score is in the red or the green. All right, the next program that I have here as a recommendation is something that's more of like an internal program, but it's called Slack. You guys have probably heard of Slack, but Slack is what we use to be able to communicate with our team. And Slack is also what we use to communicate, Haley and I, with each other. And it's something that we can go through, we can put notes in, we can break things down in, and it's obviously just a way to be able to communicate with people. Now, you can also use Slack as a way to be able to communicate with your students if you do things one-on-one and if you do things that are strictly just text messaging. The voice features on Slack are honestly a little bit lacking, but you could use something like Loom to record yourself, to record your screen, and then just pop it into Slack like that. And then Slack also keeps track of all your files in your chat history in case you need to go back and find things. So while there are other options, Slack is kind of like a one-in-many solution for us. It allows us to be able to communicate closely with students that are very high tier if we need to, or it also allows us to be able to communicate with our employees or each other and things like that. Now, yeah, there are other things that you can do. Like if you want to do just one-to-one with students on voice messaging, there's things like Voxer. Or if you want to keep better track of a project or something, there's other tools like Asana. We like it because it's clean, it's easy to run, it's a basic communication program, and it's something that actually is very cost effective. All right, so my 8th recommendation here, although I think it's number 8, is a program called Wave Apps. Now, Wave Apps is generally known for being an accounting software, and it's something we actually use to track our expenses and track everything within our business. But we also used to use it to send out invoices to brands when Haley was being an influencer. But there's actually something else that Wave is really good at, and that's setting up payments and additionally invoicing to just regular people when you have to do things like coaching or when you have to take payments for one-off things. It also lets you create really stylized invoices or very basic invoices, whatever it is that you need to get the job done to be able to process some type of credit card or take some other type of form of payment, however that is that you have it set up. But it's a great tool that's often overlooked when looking at a payment processor. So if you haven't checked out Wave Apps now, it might be a good time to go check that out if you're looking to try to start doing some coaching or you're taking some sales calls and need a quick way to send somebody an invoice. Wave is a great way to do that. Connects with your bank, like does all these other things, which is pretty awesome. Now, up until this point, we're only number 8. I've already given you all the tools that you need to start a high-ticket coaching business or some type of digital course business. Okay, so you have Wave Apps, which is a way to be able to take payment, Calendly, which is a way to be able to set up calls, and then we have Showit or WordPress if you want to be able to set up some type of a site. So there's ways for you to be able to connect with people, to be able to talk to them, set them up with a call, sell them, and take their payments. and it's actually a lot easier than people think, and you don't need 45 different tools to do it. But if you're looking for more of the details on how to actually do this and how to set things up, check out the link in the description below. I have a free training that's in there that talks about this. We can actually set up a call to talk about your strategy, your goals, what you want to do, and then we can go from there and you can learn more about the program and what it is that we teach. Okay, enough of the shameless plug. Let's get back into number 9. So number 9 is another tool that has a lot of replacements, but it's just something that we happen to use, which is a tool called Later. So Later is something that you can use to actually schedule out your posts. We use it specifically for Instagram. So you can schedule out different posts and stories and things like that. So you're not spending all of your time sitting there every single day trying to post something or trying to write the caption. You can basically just batch all of your work, and there's ways to be able to schedule it. And at different tiers, you have different options to be able to do things. Honestly, it's a very cool tool, but there are other options that are out there like Hootsuite and some other ones that I can't really remember. But if you're doing anything on Instagram, you shouldn't be wasting all of your time sitting there posting on it. So make sure that you check out some type of marketing automation tool. Now, my 10th recommendation here is honestly one of my favorites, and it's ClickFunnels. So ClickFunnels is a landing page software that lets you basically build some type of page that goes into a funnel so that you can lead people down a marketing funnel and get them to take whatever action it is that you want them to take. But the thing that's really cool about ClickFunnels is it kind of just breaks everything down and makes it very bare bones, but makes it bare bones in a good way. There's not a bunch of flashy tools or things that are around that confuse you, or pop-ups, or too much stuff that happens. ClickFunnels really is just at its core something to help people move through a funnel. And we've been using it recently, and it's honestly been very effective. Now, there are other options that are out there like lead pages, and then you could honestly just use your website too if you don't want to use a dedicated landing page software. But what's great about ClickFunnels is it's very much so built for getting people to take the action of whatever that is, whether that's book a call, or whether that's buy something from your sales page or something like that. The editor is pretty easy to use. It's a pretty simple system to go through and figure out how everything connects, and it has built-in analytics too. So it's all really awesome. Check out ClickFunnels if you haven't already, but there are other options that are out there. It's probably going to be based around like your price and kind of what you're feeling for. But with ClickFunnels, there's also a lot of other really cool options for things like additional courses that they teach and free webinars and stuff like that. So there's a lot of really good education aspects to joining ClickFunnels as well. So my 11th tool here is a tool called Zapier, or some people say Zapier. I don't know which one it is. That's the right way to be able to say it. But what Zapier does is it actually connects different tools. So if you don't want to sit there and be doing a ton of manual labor, and you don't want to be sitting there doing a bunch of like going through spreadsheets and copying, pasting things and putting people into automations and doing these things, then you need this tool called Zapier. So what Zapier does is it connects tools through an API, and basically what it does is it integrates them so that it cuts out a lot of the manual labor that needs to be done. So for instance, let's say that you have somebody that buys something through like a Teachable page, and then you want them to get a certain series of emails, but it doesn't exactly connect with your email provider. So what you can do is you can use Zapier to set up the integration so they can get an email when they enroll in your program. But one of my favorite things about Zapier is that it actually allows you to do things with filtering. So you can filter by specific things like specific products, specific landing pages, specific forms, and you can make them take specific actions based on different user inputs. So for instance, if somebody buys a program from us and it's at a certain product price, I want to send them specific marketing to try to bump them up to the next sale. But if they buy something from us that's like paid in full, for instance, I want them to get a different type of marketing that fits more of their intent. So Zapier can actually get really in depth, but at its core, it's going to basically just connect things for you and basically remove you from having to do a lot of the work. Okay, and my final recommendation here is Teachable. Now, Teachable is a teaching platform, and it's a place where basically you can host your courses or your coaching programs or things like that. Now, I know that there are a ton of other options out there for people to use that have like different tools and different things, and there's all this stuff that they can do, and like, at the end of the day, it really comes down to what do you need, what's your pricing at, what's your price point, and what do you want out of the program. And for me, Teachable is very effective at making things easy. It's not overly complicated. You drag and drop things to be able to create your program. You can create landing pages there or sales pages there if you want to. There's now a coaching aspect. So if you have coaching with like specific check-ins and things, there's a coaching section to Teachable as well. And Teachable also just has the reputation that I need to know that I'm safe with having my customers' information within Teachable and that I can run payments through them and basically anything else. Now, some people have gripes with Teachable saying like, oh, it doesn't look as pretty or it's kind of of hard to use, or there's other things that are there. But for me, we do a lot of our selling and a lot of our marketing outside of Teachable, and we use it for what I think it really does best, which is just housing all of the information that you need to be able to create a really good looking course or coaching program. So there you have it. There's 12 tools that we actually use to run a 6-figure a month business. I know it wasn't that fancy. There wasn't a bunch of stuff. There wasn't a bunch of data analysis or a lot of things that are going on. But honestly, you don't need a lot of that to be able to make money online. What you need are just the tools to be able to take actions so that you can find people, you can market them, you can sell them, and they can get the product that they want. And at the end of the day, that's really all you need. So if you're about not overcomplicating things and just getting the job done so you have more time to do the things that you want to do, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment down below if you guys want like an in-depth tutorial on how to use some of these or whatever it is on the next video that it is that you want to go over. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.